What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on a single video. Now, there were quite a few fillers in this episode of Teen Mom 2, more fillers in this episode than in any housewife face, I'm telling you. So I'm gonna just skip through a bunch of those and get to the meat of the episode. So the episode really starts getting interesting when it's Mother's Day and Jenelle is at home in the kitchen bitching about the fact that Jace is gonna be spending Mother's Day with his actual mom, Barbara. She complains that Barbara is trying to withhold Jace from her, and Uncle David is like, well, you know, Barbara's probably just cherishing the last few minutes that she has with Jace because look at all that video footage we have, baby. She's scared because she knows that stuff's gonna cost her custody with Jace, you know, and it was just embarrassing to watch that scene. Jenelle finishes off the scene by saying that she hopes that she gets primary custody of Jace and that there's something set in place where if Barbara does not abide by her rules, then she would be held in contempt of court and possibly subject to prison time, which is no way to speak about your child's mother. I wonder who would raise Jenelle's kids if Barbara went to jail. I mean, she keeps falling out with the rest of her full-time nannies, Tori and David's sister, so what is she thinking about here? Next up, Briana hosts a baby shower and texts Lewis to tell him to, you know, pretend to be a happy, scandal-free family because she's already effed up once by picking one deadbeat for a baby daddy and she's too embarrassed to let down her family yet again. And so Lewis texts her back saying, why would I act like anything else? Meanwhile, in Dover, Poppy finishes up a gym session and FaceTimes one of his friends to let her know that he filed for child support when it comes to baby Lincoln. And so the friend asks, you know, a question that's on everybody's mind, mine included, which was, hey, how do you get child support if you both have 50-50 custody? And so Javi enlightens all of us by saying that the court takes into account how much each parent makes, you know, so that the child can maintain a standard of living between the two households. And he also says that a big reason that he wants the child support is for the tuition, to have a trust fund for Lincoln, and for health insurance costs as well. I do hope that he gets it because you have to remember that not only is this guy spending money on his son Lincoln, he's also spending a lot of money taking care of Kail's other son, Isaac, who is not biologically his. So I think that the more money he can get, like in order to help out with expenses around his home, the better, because he is being a really good person to her despite the fact that she is a trifling ass heifer. Back over in Swap Land, Nathan doesn't let Jenelle keep Kaiser for Mother's Day weekend, and he says it in a really nice way. He's like, listen, I can't let you have Kaiser for this weekend because I'm going to be away for the next 2 weeks, but let's work something out. Jenelle talks to David about this and she mentions like a compromise that they want to come to in the future about, like, you know, how like he can potentially drive by visit like while he's away and stuff like that. She even goes, hey, he probably won't even take me up on this, but I want to leave the door open for him, just, you know, to let the courts and, you know, even Kaiser potentially know that I have been trying with his father. And so Uncle Dave has like a big meltdown over this. He's like, no, what the F-U-C-K, he doesn't need all this, blah, 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 don't do it, you don't need to do that, blah, blah, blah. There's all these legalities, you don't have to, blah. And he just has this big meltdown. And Jenelle stayed really calm, and I was so proud of her for this. She was like, listen, it's what I have to do, I have to be fair. And Uncle Dave just kept bitching about it the whole entire time. After this conversation kind of calms down a little bit, Jenelle asks David if they can like get off the land in the middle of nowhere and go somewhere to celebrate Mother's Day, maybe a beach perhaps. And David's like, no, because I had to do this stuff for the lawn in order to lay down the grass. And Janelle's like, why can't you just do it sooner or like another time? It's Mother's Day weekend. I really want to get out of the house. I can't be just sitting here on a porch on my day. And so David's like, no one else can do this around here but me, blah, blah, blah. And so Janelle's like, listen, this is not going anywhere, so I'm leaving to go in the house. Isn't it kind of interesting how Jenelle doesn't really yell at David when the kids aren't around, but when the kids are around, she has no problem yelling at like pretty much him or her mom. It's really funny to me. But anyway, she leaves the situation and David is just so wound up and upset that he stays in the lawn like pitching the stuff and like just cursing to himself. It was so freaking comical. Leah took her daughter Allie to Columbus to see Dr. Howe again about, like, you know, her breathing issues. And so they find out that Adley's breathing test showed her airways were restricted, so a nurse teaches her how to use an asthma inhaler. And the good news though is that she doesn't have definitive lung or heart problems. Like, she might be having problems breathing on occasion, but she doesn't have like this crazy like lung disease that's a symptom of muscular dystrophy, and like her heart seems to be in order as well. So it was such great news to hear. Over in Florida, Briana and her family rent like an Airbnb, I'm assuming, to, you know, host her baby shower because their apartment is much too small to have something of that magnitude. And so we're introduced to her grandma, who has some of the most amazing skin ever. She was so pretty. And she starts talking. I feel like they set her up to kind of look like an idiot here. They're like, so grandma, what do you think about Louis? Just to get her to talk about how great he is and stuff, knowing that like he is a fuckboy who is about to ditch Briana and his second daughter, right? Like I kind of was a little bit uncomfortable about how stupid they made her look. So, you know, obviously not knowing that Briana is about to be a 2-time deadbeat baby mama, she's like, oh, I met him this one time and he was just so nice to me, and he was also so nice to Briana. I really like him, and I hope that they last like throughout all of this, like, because you know, having a baby is hard. Some men, you guys might not know this, but some men actually run when babies are born. And I was like, why would you guys set abuelita up to look so stupid, y'all? Like I felt so bad for her. It was innocent, right? The way she spoke so highly of him. And speaking of making someone look stupid, Petty Betty actually lets us know that she was served her child support papers by the same guy that she had blindsided Javi with divorce papers back in the day. And it was just like, everything in life always comes full circle, my friends. And so she's talking to that producer guy about how like it's unfair, how she was blindsided by Javi. He never told her anything. She called him up to ask what the hell, why he would file for child support and stuff. And she believes that she shouldn't be paying child support because she's the one who pays Lincoln's tuition apparently. And she's also like, Javi has free medical for him through his work's insurance, and last but not least, he's got free childcare because his parents live with him. And I was kind of like, okay, you know what? If you're paying the full tuition, I get you're upset about that. Number two, if, you know, Javi's medical for Lincoln is also coming out of work and not really his pocket, I can kind of get why you're a little like, what the heck? But then when it came to the whole, he's got free childcare because his parents live with him, I was like, girl, have a stadium full of seats, because just because his parents live with him does not mean that they signed up to be free caregivers. And second of all, Lincoln needs to be socialized. So it's great that Javi wants him in daycare or something of the sort, where he can also socialize with other kids around his age. Like, come on. And to think about it, like, you've pretty much been a big bitch when it comes to child support in your own right, when it came to Joe and always trying to increase it despite all the money that you made from Teen Mom as well. So it's always like, you know what, this is just a case of the chickens coming home to roost. So fry them up, honey, because they are here and exclusively for you. Now, in a pretty interesting turn of events between Jenelle and Barbara actually calls up Jenelle and she goes, Jenelle, you know what? You should see Jace for Mother's Day, even if just for a little bit. Why don't you just let me know where you want me to drop him off to you? And like, you know, you can have him for a little bit just to say hi and like, so he can wish you a happy Mother's Day. So Janelle's like, okay, why don't we do something around 1 o'clock at this park, because I'm going to be doing like a photo shoot with the kids anyway. And so Barbara's like, all right, that's cool, except David could not be there because remember last episode, you guys, Jace is terrified of David and doesn't want to be around him. And so Jenelle, instead of just being like, all right, you know, maybe even I can leave the rest of the kids home since this is just for a little while anyway. I can leave the rest of the kids home before we do our stuff or whatever, like just trying to work something out so she can see the son that she's dying to see, right? She goes, all right, fine, you know what? Then I'm not coming if David can't come. David wouldn't even blah, blah, blah. David wouldn't do this. David wouldn't do that. And Jace needs to suck it up and be civil because David's going to be here forever. I was like, who the hell in their right mind tells like a 6, 7, maybe 8-year-old to be civil towards their step-parent that they're terrified of? It's a child. What do you mean be civil? Huh? Like, what? I keep telling you guys, there is not a maternal bone in that woman's body, and it's terrifying. And the fact that she didn't even think to ask, okay, why is Jace scared of David? Maybe he and I should have like, you know, an ice cream run together so we could talk about his feelings, what needs to change. Like maybe David's doing something behind the scenes that I don't know about. Like, you know what I mean? Like she's the type of mom where like her kids can be abused right under her eyes and right under her nose, and she wouldn't even do a thing about it. And there are millions of mothers like this, unfortunately. It is just so sad to see it play out on national television. The fact that she did not even think to ask for some alone time with Jay so she can discuss his concerns about David, especially in light of the fact that they're about to become married. You know, her just being like, he's here to stay forever. Like she hasn't had like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 other soulmates that she's been engaged to or pregnant by. Like, really, it was really pathetic, even for Jenelle. At a certain point, she's like, you know what? I'm sick of talking to you on the phone. Put Jace on the phone. And so Jace was so shaken up, obviously, by all of this that he refused to talk to Jenelle on the phone. And she was like, F you all, blah, blah, blah. And Barbara's like, listen, I can't come and like watch you guys play happy family, especially because I know that David's always harassing me and filming me whenever like he's in my presence. So I can't do that. And so Jenelle really gets angry and she curses Barbara out. And she's like, David would not fucking film you, blah, blah, blah. As Uncle Dave pulls out his phone to film Barbara. How freaking funny is that, you guys? So Jenelle literally to her mother says, this is not like a fake picnic family. It's reality, bitch. You're a grandmother and you need to learn your fucking place. As her young daughter is right next to her in the hands of her creepy, antagonistic, abusive fiance. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. It is no wonder Randy loves dragging the hell out of this chick because she is so freaking toxic. The way she speaks in front of her children is absolutely disgusting. And second of all, the fact that she's still alive after the way she speaks to her mother is a testament to the patience of St. Barbara, because I know if I even tried 1/10 or 1/20th of what this woman has done, I would be like 6 feet under a long time ago. Now in Chelsea land, we get a visit from her sister who she hasn't seen since her wedding last year, and they head on over to her mother's house to talk about her wedding to Cole and how she wants to move the venue just to Sioux Falls, which is where they live, and set up a tent or something because she doesn't believe that her friends and family would want to travel like 6 hours away to a wedding for people who are already married, you know, just for a reception or whatever. And so as she tells like Angie and her mom about the plans, they're both like, ugh, they turn their noses up at the idea. And Angie kind of talks to her like the whole idea of like having a wedding under like a tent or whatever, a reception, is a little bit ghetto or something. And you can tell she was just so irritated and upset by their reactions. And in the final scene of the episode, tensions hit an all-time high between Briana, Roxanne, and Brittany as they're planning for her baby shower. So Brittany gets really upset with the mom as she's spray painting some letters for what the fuck's that girl's name? As she's spray painting some letters for Briana, and so the mom's like, no, you're doing it too close. Let me just, you know, spray it for you a little bit further. And Brittany, her potty mouth is absolutely disgusting. As usual, Nova is there front and center to witness the disgusting way that her auntie decides to just speak to everybody, and it's like eye roll galore. So uncouth. And Roxanne like doesn't really react to the way that Brittany's treating her. She just heads inside where Brianna's crying and having a meltdown. She's like, I'm so annoyed with everyone. I'm so hungry. Like, ugh. And Roxanne sounded like my mom in this scene. She's like, what the hell are you annoyed with people for, huh? Like, we're all over here bending over backwards for your trifling hoish ass. Like, she didn't say trifling and hoish, but you can tell that she meant it. Like, I would be so frustrated if my daughter was this big of an effing failure and myself and my other daughter and like everyone still had to like continuously bend over backwards to support her because she continuously gets herself pregnant by deadbeat people and has to, you know, have no money, like raising her kids under the worst conditions. Like, we're all cramped up in this freaking apartment and you're annoyed, huh? Like, Roxanne read her for filth, but in a really nice way. I know that like if it were me, I would read her for filth like down to the ground, and if it were my mom, whew, good luck. The way, you know, the way Briana was acting like she was annoyed by them. What are you annoyed by, Briana? These people are hosting you a baby shower that you don't even technically deserve. You know what I mean? Like, ugh, get over yourself. That was probably one of my favorite scenes, if not my favorite scene of the entire episode. But now, you guys, I am losing my light, so I have to wrap this up pretty much immediately. So let me know all of your thoughts and opinions on this episode of Teen Mom 2. I'm so excited to chat with you guys in the comment section down below. Don't forget that you can also like this video, subscribe for more, and you can also feel free to follow me across social media because I love chatting with you guys there. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.